Welcome everyone to another episode of our weekly assault here. How you doing, Mr. Debo?
I am doing all right. How are you doing today, Tankz0rz?
Good, good. Just little hiccups here. My camera decided to fall off its stand, so we took a little delay here. But we're here and everyone's here to talk about tanks. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in, Mr. Debo?
Why don't we do just that?
So this week, there was some new stuff that we announced, wasn't there?
Oh, couple of things maybe. Like for example, the Awakened season.
Okay, sounds spooky.
It does sound kind of spooky, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Why don't
We
we?
got a number of new things coming up there. So, but you know what? Before we get to that, I
Mhm.
do want to say one thing to the community. We're really keenly aware, of the number of bugs and issues that happened with our update on Tuesday. And I just want to say that, yeah, super not good that those things happened. We had one that, prevented players from playing because there was a memory issue that shipped with the game. It was hard to find, and we unfortunately didn't find it till it was out in the wild. And then we chased it real hard, and we did get it fixed as quickly as we could. And I'm very appreciative, to my team for scrambling to get that fixed. But at the same time, it's not good enough. We shouldn't be fixing stuff in emergency mode. That stuff should go out, in a way that allows you guys to just download the update and play the game like always. So very sorry about the bugs with this release. There were a couple bad ones, and we're going to tighten things up considerably for the next release. There will be a 7.8.1 version of the release coming out on Tuesday that'll patch a few more things. And I do appreciate everyone's patience with us while we work through that. And also, because we are indeed genuinely contrite about this, there's going to be a 200% XP for first day's win active Friday through all the way to the Tuesday update. So that's our way of saying sorry and thank you for playing and thank you for being patient with us. So get in there and get that bonus. It'll be there for you all weekend and all throughout Monday as well, all the way up until the Tuesday update in the early morning hours. That's all I had to cover on that one. So again, very sorry. We're going to do better, okay?
Sounds good.
Now we can move
Now
on.
we could
About the
talk
season.
about the exciting stuff, right? So
Yep.
awaken mode, spooky stuff. What do we have in there?
Oh, we got all kinds of good stuff in there. We've got a whole bunch of great worked out tanks for the awakened mode, for playing in the Halloween mode. They've got cool powers. We think they're cool looking. All sorts of good stuff there. We've got stuff in the season pass, of course, like the T77 Tier 8 heavy tank. We've got the T77 Flashpoint skin. We've got a new 3D commander. We've got all sorts of stuff in the regular season pass, like the American Tier 5 M4A2E4 Ripper Medium. We've got the return of Ravenous Rolf, our 3D hero commander. We've got the Monstrosity, otherwise known as Frankenstein's monster, to those of you who don't get too worried about intellectual property and stuff. Sorry. We've got the American Tier 8 Falcon T92 light tank. And we've got a new one, the T55 Enigma Escalation Era Independent Medium Tank. A couple fun facts about that one for you guys. That one's got a win rate of about 55.9%. That's tops among Era 2 mediums. It's got an average damage of 3,139, which is, again, number one for Era 2 mediums. So hopefully that'll be interesting for you fans of Cold War. Over in the Ultimate Season Pass, we've got our Carmilla 3D Hero Commander. That's always been a popular one, and I hope people will enjoy that. We've got a new British Tier 9 Cobra Medium Tank. Win rate is 51%. Average damage, 1,565. That's third among Tier 9 mediums. So hopefully those will be interesting additions for people as well. Couple of update features. We're going to have Japanese heavies and multi-turret functionality, right? That's all good stuff. Commander display improvements. We're going to make that. We're going to make a couple of quality of life things there better for people when dealing with their commanders and how they're displayed. A couple improvements to store. We're hopefully going to make the store a little more. I don't know if intuitive is the right word, but we want to make it better to navigate and easier to find things that are of interest.
Couple quality of life improvements there, right?
Yeah, and hopefully quality of life improvements that are meaningful, right? I mean, you guys will tell us if they're not, right? And we will hear that, but we're hoping that those will be meaningful and useful to people. That doesn't mean that that's all of the quality of life improvements. We're not saying that's everything. There's a laundry list as long as my arm of quality of life improvements that we want to make. So please don't anybody think that this is all we're doing. It's going to be an ongoing focus to improve the quality of life in the game. So just understand that these are some that we have coming up now, but there will always be more. Premium bonus stuff. We got extra 50% silver and XP on tier 5 or era 2. And I should say era 2 and up for the 121, the IS-7, and the Challenger 2. And we should probably do our first giveaway. Isn't that right, Tankz0rz?
Yeah, I think we're a little bit behind schedule on that, but why not do it now? And for our first giveaway, let's go ahead and give away an ultimate season pass to a lucky winner. So go ahead and type into chat, or not type into chat, click on this link in chat, and you'll be eligible to enter for all of our giveaways today. All you have to do is enter your Wargaming ID and you're all set. And that is for an ultimate season pass. Alrighty.
Okay.
So that wraps it up for this week.
That does. Do we want to talk about what's going on next week?
Well, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on next week.
All right, let's talk about next week. Next week, there will be some new Halloween tanks. And before I go into any details there, you want to pull up some sweet, sweet pics of those tanks?
Absolutely. What are we looking at?
Why don't we start with the Death Chariot?
All right, Death Chariot is. So this looks like it's the non-awakened version of the Death Chariot, which is tier 8 heavy, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's a tier 8 heavy. It's got normal matchmaking, and it's got a gun with 460 alpha. And it also has the pleasant and soothing side effect of collecting the souls of your enemies through its enhanced 25% commander XP bonus. Now, it also, of course, being a Halloween tank, has an awakened mode with some all-new powers. Can we bring up that awakened mode?
Oh, it's up there.
There we go. And you'll see, what do we got? Skull-seeking missiles. Pretty fun. I personally like the audio on those. I will share a little insider bit here, though. My initial goal was that the Screaming Skulls should sound like Gilbert Gottfried, and I was thwarted in my pursuit of Gilbert Gottfried for the voice for the Screaming Skulls, because I really thought that would be hilarious. It turns out not everybody shares my sense of humor when it comes to those things. So I think we came up with probably a better bit of audio than that.
That would definitely be some issues there, but it does sound pretty funny having that.
Yeah, probably only funny for like the first minute, and then
right.
Then it would be pretty annoying. But it was just a dream I had. That dream is dead. What are we moving on to here? Should we move to the Arachnid?
Well, let's take a look. And we have the Arachnid,
Nice.
Non-awakened.
This one's a good one. And let me just say, I know that we received some feedback about what this tank might cause people to feel if you're a person who has arachnophobia. I don't personally have some great familiarity with arachnophobia other than the definition of the term. I don't know anybody who suffers from it. If you do, I do feel badly about that. I am hoping that the tank is more fun than like outright horrifying or anything like that. So fingers crossed that people will enjoy this one and not be too disturbed by it. But I will say our team made a pretty creepy tank here, and I personally am proud of the work they did on that. So hopefully just the right amount of spooky and not too spooky. This one's a tier 9 medium that mounts a 2-round auto loader. So it's going to take a pretty good chunk of the enemy's damage, and it's fairly mobile. That's kind of a big deal for this. I mean, after all, it's a spider. Spiders are nimble and agile. It can scatter across the battlefield. It's a medium, as I said. So mobility is king there. In its awakened mode, do we have a awakened mode on this one here?
Absolutely. Let's take a look at that one.
Yeah.
So we have it up the screen now.
Okay, awakened mode. Yeah, for awakened mode, you can imbue the spirit of a jumping spider and crush your enemies. So now you've got the ability to do a leap, okay? And you can just literally stomp an enemy. Hopefully that's going to be fun for you guys. I personally think that's a hoot and a half. It's really great. And I will share an insider tidbit again. Some people have found while playing this tank that it's really, really useful to wiggle the legs in front of your enemy when you're up close with them to really, really interfere with their vision. So if you really, really like lean into that competitive aspect of it and you really, really want to bother somebody, this is your ticket. What do we got next here? The Asterian?
Up next, we have the Asterian here.
All right. So now the Asterian, the name, of course, is taken from Greek mythology. We're referring, of course, to the Minotaur. I hope everyone's familiar with that one. That's a tier 8 heavy. And because it's based on the myth of the Minotaur, obviously it leans into, you know, those, shall we say, bull-like or, you know, bovine features. It's a heavy tank. It's got great frontal armor protection, solid guns, solid mobility. And, you know, this one you can go in and really mix it up. You can be aggressive and charge in there a little bit. And for me personally, if you're gonna be the bull, you got to give them the horns. You got to ram. Okay, get in there. We have an awakened mode for this one too, of course, being a monster tank. How's that look?
Spooky, very spooky. I like it. I like the little axe that he's carrying.
Yeah. So now with that, you're imbuing the spirit of the bull to ram your enemies and send them flying across the battlefield. This for me is the fun one. This is my favorite. I mean, I think they're all fun, but me personally, I'm a brawler. I like that. Get up in there, send them flying, eject them. Awesome. And again, that's not for everybody. There's a tank for your play style here for Halloween mode. You might prefer the Arachnids method of engagement. You might prefer the Flying Skulls on the Death Chariot. But for me, it's the Asterian. I want to get in there and just bulldoze a guy. Fantastic stuff. Love it. What else we got here, Tankz0rz?
I believe we have some more spooky stuff alongside some tanks here, right? Maybe a commander?
Oh, yeah, sure enough. We've got a new Halloween commander. Those of you who have seen the trailer and were paying attention, I think you got a good look at this guy, but let's see him in all his glory, the Grim Reaper.
I like his, I was taking a look at him earlier, and aside from his spooky green eyes, which I do like, I also like the chains and like little keys that he has. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Oh yeah, I think the art team really did a great job with this model. We're very happy with it, and again, you know, that's quintessential Halloween stuff there. I think it really captures the spirit of it, and as I said, they did a great job modeling this, putting detail on there, like you mentioned. It's a beautiful commander model, and I'm real happy with it. Hopefully you guys will be too.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
Looks like might have Monster Hunter coming back.
Hey, look at that. Well, it being Halloween and we're dealing with monster tanks and monster commanders, Monster Hunter kind of makes sense, right? Are you missing a certain Halloween tank? Well, Monster Hunter is the way to go get it. I just want to say as a reminder though, once you complete a choose tank operation, Monster Hunter ends, and you won't be able to earn a tank higher up in the op. So please, 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 in order to make sure you're getting what you want here, make sure you pick the right one during the choose tank op. Okay, just be extra sure so that you don't end up with an unhappy choice. That said, if you do, please contact our customer service folks, and we'll try to make it right for you. Customer service folks, please don't kill me for saying that, but that's really the route that we should take.
It's I mean it's something that that they'll always be more than happy to help with, but yeah, definitely try and make the right choice. But if something happens, we'll try and help you out.
Yes, indeed. Thanks very much for that, Tankz0rz. What else we got here? I think we got some Halloween key cards.
Absolutely, we have spooky Halloween key cards coming back, and I believe we have a nice little art piece to show here of some spooky Halloween key cards.
Very cool. Hope you guys are going to enjoy those too. And also, like, on the topic of like things that are Halloween oriented, how about a Halloween garage? What's that look like?
Halloween garage. Well, it's gonna be a little spooky. We don't have anything to show them here for that, but it's gonna be spooky.
Okay, sorry guys, my apologies. I thought we had some art for that. That's my mistake, not Tankz0rz. So apologies, Tankz0rz. Didn't mean to put you on a spot there. Yeah, we're gonna have a Halloween garage. We'll be sure to get some shots out there for you guys to look at if you want to see them. Other stuff we've got going on. We've got an X2 commander experience, so you can get that double commander experience in any Halloween tank. We've got a monster drop operation. Little reminder about the monster drop operation, that will only activate if you buy a Halloween tank bundle from the store. Okay, so that is tied to buying a Halloween tank bundle. So just want to be clear about that, so no one's confused. Like, why can't I get the monster drop up? That's where it's available. Daily login challenge. Completing the daily login challenge is going to get you the tier 9 heavy, the STRVK. And I think that takes us to some more giveaway stuff, doesn't it, Tankz0rz?
It sure does. But before we get there, we should probably announce our first giveaway, shouldn't we?
We totally should.
So our first winner is Tall Desert 34 426. Congratulations, Tall Desert.
Congratulations to you.
Lucky winner of our Ultimate Season Pass. And our next giveaway, let's go ahead and let's give away an arachnid.
So, I like it.
If you'd like to enter for a chance for an arachnid, go ahead and enter your Wargaming ID into the link in chat. If you've already done so, then you're all set.
Okay. Excellent. Let's see, what should we move on to then?
I believe that we could take a look at shoutouts time, isn't it?
I suppose it is. All right. Well, we always like to do shoutouts because, of course, those are about you guys, the players, and you're the ones who make the game what it is. So let's call out a few of those great things. Just a reminder, people who get a shout out receive a confidential key card as a reward to show our appreciation. So with that said, let's get into it. We've got, let's see here. We got some battle feats, right? So battle feats for the Cobra. People in the Cobra. We have Jay Broomy with the max damage caused in a single battle of, am I reading this right? I am. 9,359 and max XP earned in a single battle with 2,632 XP. Good job, Jay Broomy. Congratulations to you. Shout out also to Slim_Sabernak with the max combined assisted damage at 7,265. Congrats to you as well. That's for the Cobra. Looking at the T-55 Enigma, we've got, of course, Hellcat I, with the max damage caused in a single battle, 11,588. Big numbers. The next shout out, okay, I'm going to just mangle this name, so please bear with me. Y4UXA Madapa 802 with the max combined damage in a single battle, 8,404 damage. Good stuff. Shout out to both of you. Good job. In the T77, we've got 3 shout outs. We've got J0314MC00. That's either a 1 or an L. Good luck with fonts. I'm not very good at reading that, but hopefully I got the name close. Max damage caused in a single battle, 5,559. Well done. Next, we've got Brother Boys 150 with max combined damage in a single battle of 4,118. Also well done. Last but not least in the T77, we've got NPUMU_YPOH_6PAT. Wow, amazing name. I should have set that as a password somewhere, except I'd promptly forget it. Too complicated for my tiny brain. Congrats to you. Max XP earned in a single battle, 2,228. Well done, all 3 of you in the T77. That brings us to the Falcon T92. We've got Hell Pedrasone with the max damage caused in a single battle, 4,856. Scarface-Buddy with the max combined damage in a single battle, 7,023. Wa_Ray__, or that might be a really, really long underscore. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 1. Who knows? It's a mystery. Max XP earned in a single battle, 2,153. Well done, all 3 of you. Next, we've got the M4A2E4 Ripper. We've got Sturmfalke 88 with the max damage caused in a single battle, 2,549. Ian Mac UK with the max combined damage in a single battle, 2,198. Battis 2011 with the max blocked damage in a single battle, 2,340. Well done all. Medal Showcase. Congratulations to Jaxies in their Cobra and Sir Fenrir 23 in their IS-7 for both earning Kolobanov's medal. Well done. Well done indeed. Couple more things to shout out here. Milestones achieved. We always like announcing these milestones because these numbers, every time we announce milestones, the numbers just stagger me. And I'm constantly amazed and grateful at the amount of time and energy you guys put into playing the game. And again, my hat's off to you. That's amazing stuff. First, we've got DJ Spider 78 for reaching the 110,000 battles pinnacle. Well done. 110,000 battles. That is an important milestone. Well done. Next, we have Mint Scissors 570, who has reached 140,000 battles. Again, my hat's off to you both. That's amazing and impressive stuff, and I thank you for your dedication. I really do.
And that's a lot of battles.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, I've been here a while, but like those numbers always amaze me. And like I said, I really am grateful for it, that people care enough to play that much over that long a period of time. That really means everything. Again, everyone gets a confidential key card. I wish you luck with those key cards. Hope you get good stuff. What else we got now? Should we go and check on our giveaway results?
We should. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that's doing over there. Choose a winner. And let's just, on the off chance that our winner here is arachnophobic, maybe we should change it out for a different tank or something. So you can message me if that's the case. But let's see who
that's
our
a
winner
great idea.
is.
Yeah, that is a really great idea. And yes, we'd be happy to swap that out for somebody if that tank proves problematic for someone with arachnophobia.
And our winner is Oddball39. Congratulations, Oddball. You're the winner of
Congratulations indeed.
the Arachnid. And why don't we keep the giveaways rolling?
What are we giving away next?
Well, let's keep it in the spirit of Halloween. We just did an Arachnid. Next up, let's do an Asterian. So, if you'd like to.
Oh yeah. As I said before, I don't pretend that I love them all equally. I like them all, but this is the one I think is great. I love this tank.
I mean, what's not great about ramming your foes into against the wall? It's always fun.
Yes, just don't go mad with the power. That's all I ask.
I know I was talking about our favorite Halloween tanks with Bam last week, and he brought up a good one. My default's always Gordonich. I'm like, that one's my go-to, but he was talking about how fun the Revenant is. I was like, you know what? I think I might have to agree with you. Like, when else can you like hide in plain sight, and be really trolly? So I thought that was a nice little tidbit.
I certainly respect your opinion and Bam's opinion on that, but like you said the two things that, like, for me, it's like, this is why I like a tank like the Asterian.
Right.
There's no hiding. There's no trolling. There's no sneaking. No, right up in there and bam.
That's why.
And I do have to ask, why someone who goes by the name of Bam favors the Revenant? Questions to be asked next week when he returns.
We're gonna have to ask him a lot of questions then.
We're gonna have to talk about that.
But no, I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? Like, different tanks for different folks. So
absolutely, that is the goal. I mean, that's why it's World of Tanks. It's not World of, like, here's a couple of tanks for just a couple of people.
World of just a couple of tanks.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine that's a product somewhere in some alternate universe where we don't like variety, but fortunately, that's not this reality.
I see someone's trying to guess, is Bam from the Flintstones? No, his name is not from the Flintstones.
No, he did not. But I freely admit, I don't know where he took inspiration for that name from. So yeah, I could have guessed the Flintstones too, and I would have been wrong. I don't actually know where he got Bam from originally.
We'll have to ask him about that. But ever since I've known him, it's always been Bam. 1500. Alright.
He is a marvel of consistency. Okay, what else have we got here?
I think it's almost question time here.
Almost. Oh, but you know what? Before we get into question and answer time, why don't we talk a little bit about what we're going to do for Monster Mash?
What are we going to do for Monster Mash?
Well, not to, I don't want to, overring the hype bill or anything, but we were thinking maybe 2 weeks of Monster Mash.
Wait, not just like 3 days?
No, maybe 2 weeks. Maybe give some people some time to get in there. Okay. So we're thinking 2 weeks of Monster Mash. Let's see if that gives people time to achieve their objectives, have the fun they want to have, get in there and mix it up, maybe try a couple of different tanks, all that good stuff. So we think 2 weeks coming soon. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Sounds good. I like it.
Go ahead.
I like that a lot, but I mean, is that it? Just 2 weeks? Anything else?
Oh, well, now that you ask, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it's okay to mention it. We might have another commander in the pipeline here that we could perhaps talk about. It's a commander that has a somewhat mythological prestige associated with them. I think anybody who would consider themselves a fan of perhaps Teutonic myth would find this commander perhaps compelling or interesting. The name Hilder comes to mind. What do you think that might be?
Listen, I'm not really sure, but I've seen some stuff and it looks pretty cool.
maybe people should stay tuned and find out about that. I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's coming pretty soon, based
Keep your
on what I know and
keep,
based on what I've seen.
everyone should keep their eyes open. Maybe we'll drop some more information here soon.
Yeah,
And
I think it might be kind of a thing to keep an eye on, because you never know what can come flying in to the battlefield at any time.
yeah, definitely.
I'll
And
leave it at that.
speaking of giving more information and whatnot, make sure everyone visits our Twitter page because we also have giveaways running on there as well right now. So if you haven't had a chance to win here, go ahead and visit our Twitter page for another chance to win there. But
Get in there. More chances to win more things.
with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our questions. And it looks like we have some questions for you here, Mr. Deebo, from last week.
Okay. What are we starting with here? Let's see. Well, let's tackle one. Let's tackle a hard one first. Okay.
All
And just get it out of the way. So it has been asked, why was there a change to the season challenges points requirements, and why was that change not communicated until after the season went live? Long story short, we've been trying to do a number of things here in the studio, as a result of recent changes, new people in new positions. We've said goodbye to some old friends like Pain God and Chuji. We've had new people step up, and as part of moving all that around and getting things sorted and figuring out what our new normal is, we've occasionally had a couple of communication snafus. Not going to sugarcoat it, just a couple of messages crossing each other and a couple of things not being clear. We're working our way through it. But the long story short is we didn't do a good enough job as a team, and that includes me first and foremost. We didn't do a good enough job as a team of communicating amongst ourselves about the point change, the reasons for it, and how to communicate it to you guys. And for that, I apologize. I don't intend to be a person who shows up here on the stream to apologize all the time. Although I can understand if you guys are like, yeah, Deebo shows up whenever Wargaming does something wrong. That's really not the case. But in this case, we did get it wrong. And we're going to try to have a better process for that. We've had some internal discussions about how to avoid that in the future. And the goal is that what goes out in the game is communicated clearly to players in advance so that you have some time to digest that information, ask questions, interact with the community team about those changes, things like that. So you have my word, we'll do better going forward.
Awesome. Good
That said, we can move on to some other stuff, I guess, right? We've got one from a Reddit user.
Yeah, his name is Sniper Panzer, and he's asking,
Yes.
are there any plans for any Latin American tank lines?
Okay, that's a good one. I freely admit it hasn't come up, and we haven't had any thoughts a priori about Latin American tank lines. Always open to the idea. If there are suggestions, hey, please engage with the community team and hit us up on Facebook, Discord, wherever, and get those ideas to us. We have specific feedback areas in Discord now where some of that stuff can live and get some attention. So, and we have a suggestions area, et cetera, et cetera. Please go ahead and give us your ideas. That's an interesting thought, and we hadn't previously considered it. So, totally open to discussing.
We have another question here from Def211, and he's asking, currently matches on Era 3 can be determined by whichever team has the most Merkavas. One of the reasons may be caused by every other MBT having one or more weak spots that can be overwhelmed with ease. Any chance that we can add additional weak spots to the Merkavas to reduce the weak spots on other MBTs?
Okay, great question. This one's got a pretty straightforward answer. Long and short of it is, there was a bug with this tank and some other tanks that was addressed in the recent season update. Um, Based on what we can see data-wise, things are already starting to normalize in Era 3, but we're, of course, because we're aware of the bug and we're aware of the timing in which we introduced the fix, we're going to keep monitoring that. And our belief is that things will continue to normalize and settle down there. If we see any more anomalies there, we will definitely take additional action. Um, yeah, so we basically had to make a couple of fixes internally, and those are in. We believe we've got it handled. So if people are seeing something different, obviously we're interested to hear that, but we believe it's addressed at this time.
Awesome, awesome. Let us continue here. Our next question is from Worried Amoeba 2, and he's asking why the same tank keeps showing up in rewards like the T-77, for example.
Okay, well, I hate to answer a question with a question, but I want to know what an amoeba worries about. I'm generally curious about things like that. What would an amoeba worry about?
I think tank rewards.
Yeah. So with that said, clearly this amoeba is worried about why the T-77 showed up as a season reward when it's been in rewards in the past. And it is a fair question. Why wasn't it all new? The answer there is that given the lifespan of our game's been around quite a while now. We launched many years ago, and not all players who play today have been here since the beginning. So for some of those players, the T-77 as a reward wouldn't be an old vehicle. It wouldn't be a vehicle that they've seen before and been awarded before. So for this user, it's still new, and it's still a new reward for a more recent player that didn't have the opportunity to earn them given when they joined the game. And this is true for all of the types of events where you can earn a tank. And don't get me wrong, I understand. Of course, if you've been here with us for a long time, that can be less interesting for you guys because, like, well, you've already had that opportunity to earn that tank, and you've already have that tank, so this isn't compelling for you. But in this specific case, this is content where we looked at it and said, hey, we've got a number of players who didn't have the chance to earn that one yet, so let's put it in there. I hope that people don't think we're just recycling stuff, because we're not. We're still making new things. It isn't so much a matter of, oh, hey, this is some lazy choice to just populate an event or a pass or an earn opportunity. It is really a conscious decision to say, hey, let's see if we can get some of these items that people who are more recent to the game haven't had a chance to earn, and let's get them in there and give them a chance to earn these things. So I hope you'll be a little patient with that, because I understand it's not necessarily the same value for older players as it would be for newer players. So
Absolutely.
anyway, that said, that's why every season has new tanks in them. So we're always trying to provide something for everyone. But I freely recognize that sometimes a given reward or item is more geared to one group of players than another, and you don't always please everyone with those decisions. So hopefully that gives you a little insight into why we did that.
Definitely. Before we move on with our questions here, let's go ahead and choose a winner for our Asterian tank here.
Oh yeah.
And our winner is the Kid 480. Congratulations, the Kid. You're the winner of the Asterian.
Congratulations. You're getting my favorite. That's the one. So I really hope you enjoy it.
But you know what? Why stop there? Let's keep it going. And
you're a madman. You're gonna keep going?
We're gonna keep going. And we're gonna wrap it up here with a Death Chariot, and on top of the Death Chariot, the Grim Reaper as well.
Oh, man, that's a killer combo.
Mm-hmm. So if you'd like to enter, please enter the link, enter your Wargaming ID. If you've already done so, you're good for this giveaway as well.
And just a reminder, as Tankz0rz already mentioned, if you're not one of the lucky winners here, you can always go on Twitter and give your luck a try there. And the reward there is what?
the reward on Twitter is also a Death Chariot and a Grim Reaper.
Okay, so you got, if you really are you're really interested in the Death Chariot and the Grim Reaper, you got 2 chances to get after it. So I wish you all the best of luck. If you don't hit it here, give your luck a try on Twitter and maybe you'll get it.
We have a question here from Preparo, and they're asking, we have lots of UI improvements coming in 2023, and this is something that we keep in mind. Can we please be a little more descriptive than that? 6.0 was billed as an improvement or UI improvement. Can we get a chance to provide feedback on UI changes before they're actually implemented?
Okay, yeah, this is a good one because I know that in previous streams and other communications we've said, hey, we've got plans for UI improvements coming in 2023, and yeah, that's really very understandable that people would want to know, well, what does that mean? UI improvements, that's pretty basic, and I do understand that people may go, yeah, looking back at 6.0, you guys said that was going to be full of UI improvements, and maybe people didn't feel that those things were actually improvements. So believe me, well aware of that. It's a great question. In order to give you sort of a taste of what that means when we say UI improvements, the next season, the season coming up after this one, we'll have more information about that, and we will be telling you more about what those UI improvements will be. Maybe not all of them, because we've got a number of them in the works, but you will hear about our most, what do we want to say, our most imminent UI improvements. You'll start hearing about what those are as we approach next season. We'll have more information about what that means, and we'll continue to communicate with you guys about that moving forward into the new year. I don't want to go into too much detail right now. I know that can be frustrating, but I can't go into details that I don't have fully signed off and nailed down, and yes, this is exactly what we're going to do. So I don't want to promise something that we're not going to do, but what I will promise you is you are definitely going to like at least the first couple of things we put out that we have committed to. I'm pretty confident. The first couple of UI improvements that we make are going to meet with your approval as a player base. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm in the wrong job, but I'm willing to say I'm very confident in that.
Sounds exciting. We have another question here from DJ Ehe, and they're asking, similar to the symbols next to wheeled tanks and tanks that have siege mode in the tanks menu, would it be possible to add symbols for tanks such as the auto loaders? Not too game changing, but it'd be a nice quality of life improvement.
Hey, good call. I like the way you think. We already have a ticket for that, and work is already progressing on that. So yes, and yes.
Awesome.
Wow, that's the easiest one I'm going to do today. I love those easy ones. That's good.
Another question from IC Entrepreneur. They're asking, what is Wargaming's plan for improving / pushing forward the engine on the PS5 and XS consoles? It's been 2 years since launch. While I have the understanding that, working on content is important, it feels like the engine itself doesn't really move forward and has always been a little bit behind minor improvements and bug fixing.
Okay, well, this is a pretty broad one, and I hope that by providing a similarly broad answer, I'm not frustrating anybody, but I'll do my best. So, first of all, when we talk about behind on improvements and bug fixing for the engine, it's always a matter of context there. Behind what? Behind the latest version of Unreal, for example? Or the latest version of Unity, or insert Game Engine X here, or it's always important to understand, well, what minor improvements are we behind on in terms of the game engine? Is it something involving rendering? Is it something involving lighting, particle effects? There's a whole litany of things that go into a game engine. Of course, some visual, some audio oriented, some merely systemic oriented. So with that said, Do we have plans for improving and pushing forward the engine on PS5 and consoles? I'm going to loosely interpret that as meaning, can I get more frames or higher graphical fidelity or more something on newer hardware? And the long and short of that right now is we'd love to. Unfortunately, if you look at the installed base for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in particular, the Series S, not as much. The Series S has a little more availability. But the Series X, which is, of course, the one you want, and the PS5, they're still relatively scarce. The installed base is not large, and our player base as a whole is still vast majority on previous generation hardware. And that means that when we're doing things on the game engine, we can't necessarily optimize for PS5 or Xbox Series X right now because the majority of our players are still on older hardware, and we don't want to unfairly penalize them. And that's not to say that you can't find ways to leverage newer hardware and take advantage of it where possible. Um, so I'm not saying it's impossible. That's just an engineering task. But right now, in terms of where our audience is, we don't have enough players on PS5 and Xbox Series X to really benefit from a lot of those changes. So in that sense, we don't have a whole big schedule of work to improve X, Y, and Z on the next gen hardware. We really would like to see that hardware be more available. And honestly, normally if even if you look at Sony and Microsoft, like normally 2 years from the launch of that kind of hardware, it's the majority. And unfortunately, supply chain issues have made those consoles not the majority in the marketplace yet. So it's going to take a little longer, but obviously as those constraints ease and more people are able to actually just like walk into a Target or a Walmart or go online and just purchase one and have it be there rather than waiting in a queue and monitoring 50 websites to see if one comes available. Once they're readily available and in people's hands, we'll be able to do more things to take advantage of that hardware because the installed base will be larger and it will make a lot more sense.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry for the long answer there, but that's, that one's a tricky one.
Yeah, definitely. Question here from community contributor Pills. He's asking, can we have the option to pay 10 gold to unequip equipment for the full silver purchase price? Can that be bought? Can that be brought back, please?
Unfortunately, that would prevent us from doing any equipment sales. So we couldn't do any sales then. And so at this time, we are not planning on doing that.
Very well. Question here from another community ambassador, Degeneratio, is asking, on Warship's PC, you could compliment players for playing well. Is it possible to have a similar system and, give out small rewards?
Nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible. It's an engineering task. This task in particular is a very UI engineering heavy task. And our UI team is already, stretched to the limit, with the other things that we're working on. And I want to go back to the earlier remark about like, hey, UI improvements, right? That whole question about UI improvements and my answer there. I don't want to give up any of the progress on those current UI improvements to kind of change gears and work on this feature. I'm being 100% honest with you. I think the UI improvements we're working on will be more valuable than this. That's not to say that this isn't a valuable feature. It's just that it would be behind a long line of other UI features that we already have slated to work on. And for the team size we have, we really want to prioritize those UI improvements because we think that's really what's going to be of the most benefit to the most players.
We have a question here from Carlinius 1979. They're asking, can we see missiles loaded onto the WZ-122 like you can on the AMX-13 and the Arctic Hiss?
Short answer is no. Longer answer is the missiles are inside of the tubes, so they're not externally mounted on rails like those other vehicles. And so that's why.
We have another set of questions here from Rainbow Randolph asking, when does the Halloween event start?
When does the Halloween event start?
I believe that will start October 18th.
There we go.
So keep your eye open for that. Um, I know we're running out of time here. We still got some more questions to go through.
Okay, we can go fast. Let's shotgun this stuff.
All right.
Okay, do you have plans to restrict the number of lights in a match? The answer is we don't have specific plans, but we know that people are concerned about it. It is something that our server engineers who deal with matchmaking can evaluate. I will say that we have the ability to do a lot of simulations on matchmaking and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a thing. We're aware that people are concerned about it. There are various things we can look at there to see what tweaks it. But as with anything with the matchmaker, every change has to be pretty thoroughly simulated and tested so that we can make sure we're not making things worse for other vehicle types, et cetera, et cetera. You exclude one, you get too much of the other. It's all balance, of course. That brings us to, let's see, Ghost asks, do you have any plans to optimize the game on consoles like the Xbox One and the PS4? Frames per second, pretty bad. We already optimized for those consoles, and that goes back to my prior, answer about the PS5 and the Series X. Yeah, we know that the majority of our players are still on Xbox Ones and PS4s. I still play the game on a stock PS4 because I always want to know what that experience is like. And I feel your pain. There are areas where it's not fast enough, and there's areas where the performance isn't what we would like it to be. We already do target optimizations for those things, and we will continue to target those platforms
Somebody pinched me.
until that changes. Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were down there. Somebody pinched me is asking, the T92 was buffed a few months back in World War II. Why wasn't it buffed in Cold War? It's a little bit too slow.
Okay, well, in that case, World War II and Cold War being two different modes, they have their completely separate set of balance parameters and stats and play styles, and that's why there's a difference. I appreciate that you may feel it's too slow in Cold War, but it's performing the way it's supposed to perform in that mode.
Urinator One is asking, are we gonna have any Black Friday skins like last time again?
It's maybe a little too early to talk about that one. Let's just say we have some cool stuff in mind.
Alrighty. Patton 45 is asking, any chance for adding more countries' military emblems and flags for countries that don't have that in game?
Absolutely. We requested the Romanian emblem to be added. And that's ongoing kind of stuff. Like where achievable, we do it. So if you have suggestions for specific military emblems, flags, etc., feel free to use the various channels that we have for communicating, and let our community management team know about that, and we will hear about it, and we can probably get something done.
Saw a question in chat asking about, is the Minotaur actually acting as spaced armor on the tank?
Nope, that's visual. That's a visual element only. It is not actually spaced armor.
Awesome. Voodoo Tank. Hi guys. On the EU server, there's been problems with lag this week. The game is unplayable at the moment and runs stable on NA. When do you have time to fix this?
Well, first of all, like based on overall monitoring, we're not seeing anything widespread there. We'd have a lot of alarms going off if it was particularly widespread in a given server cluster. So if you are having issues on EU cluster, please file a support ticket and we will do our best to help troubleshoot the connection. There are a myriad of reasons why, player performance on a given server cluster can be problematic. I can't go into the entire laundry list of those things, but yeah, please file a support ticket and we will do our best to help you figure out what's going on with your connectivity to the EU server cluster.
We have a question here from Kevin Gonzalez asking, can we have unique 3D commander voices?
We think that that's a tremendously cool idea. And it just boils down to time and schedule and budget and things like that. And yeah, we are definitely investigating the possibility. We internally would love to do it. So, stay tuned. More to come.
Question from Gabriel Alvarado asking, why can't the Halloween tank last all month instead of just 1 week?
Well, as we already noted, this is a great question, by the way. Thank you. We already noted it'll be available for 2 weeks. Making it a month is maybe a little too much for what is a temporary game mode. I agree it's debatable, but we feel like 2 weeks is a pretty good one to keep it from getting stale for people. Because that's the last thing we want to do is like bring in a temporary game mode that is there to be, fun and a change of pace, and then kind of take the fun out of it by running it for too long. You never want to wear out your welcome, right? So that was the thinking there. Hopefully that answers the question.
Axzilla is asking, can we get ops that allow you to give free XP or boosters?
Great question. And I am happy to say there is going to be an upcoming challenge to earn some boosters. So coming soon. Stay tuned.
Well, this one's a specific question for you, Mr. Deebo here. He's asking, Lou Almighty, I want your hat. Where can I get one?
Man, wow. Well, first of all, if you are indeed Lou Almighty, then I don't think getting a hat should be a problem. I mean, you're almighty. But that said, you are not the only person who asks about this hat. There are people inside the studio who bother me about this hat as well. All I can tell you is it's a collector's item.
It is a collector's
And they're
item.
not making them right now. So, I apologize for it being scarce. If I could send you a hat, I would. But this is the only one I got. And believe me, you don't want to see the top of my head.
I know we had, I think, like beanies on some merch site, but yeah, I haven't seen those hats around. Yeah, boys asking, can we see the Chiri getting its whole gun?
I do not know the answer to that one. You stumped me on that one. We'll have to pass that on to the tank design team. So we'll take note of that and pass it on to the tank design team and see if that's something that's already in their list of stuff or something that they can consider.
All right. Disbanded Death. Would it be possible to get new and different perks?
Don't have any planned currently. It's not a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I get it. New perks can spice things up, give you some different play options. If you have particular ideas, please go to Discord, go to any of our other available channels, and put your ideas in the hopper. And I guarantee you somebody will look.
Question from Gray Whales. World of Warships has Transformer content. Why has World of Tanks been left out?
No particular reason other than that we are a different franchise. Wargaming is one company, of course, but like World of Warships is its own franchise. World of Tanks is another franchise. Both franchises have several games within them that fit that franchise theme of tanks, or in their case, ships. Simply a business matter. They did a licensing deal, and the World of Tanks franchise was not part of that licensing deal. That's the only reason. And it's just something we didn't pursue within the World of Tanks franchise.
Here's another question regarding merch. Meme Masters asking, Wargaming, do you sell merchandise like t-shirts or something?
Well, yeah, there is wargamingstore.com. That is wargamingstore.com. And we do have merchandise available there for those of you who are interested. Mm-hmm. Although, not this hat.
And we have a question from Jason Williams asking, so how do you acquire new monster tanks?
They are going to be available for purchase next week.
Very good. And I think we still have a giveaway winner to choose, don't we?
I believe you are right. We still have to call one out here for our Death Chariot and Grim Reaper, right?
Mm-hmm. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at our winner here. And our winner is Bredy 25. That is BREDI 25. Congratulations. You're the winner of the Death Chariot and the Grim Reaper. And that about
Nice.
wraps it up for us this week, right, Debo?
That does indeed wrap it up. And thank you so much for carrying me through this, Tankz0rz.
Oh,
I
thank
am
you.
not the most conversant stream personality, so thanks for making it easy for me. And I would just want to say thanks to the entire team that puts this stream together. They do a lot of work to prep me and give me information and help me avoid perhaps the worst mistakes of my own idiocy. Um, and fortunately, they let me wear my hat, which is an absolute vital piece of this whole thing. Thanks to everyone for watching. Greatly appreciate you. See you on the battlefield.
Have a great weekend, everyone. See you on the battlefield.